there, boys and girls. It's Miss Manning here. Today I'm going to be teaching you Module 6, Lesson 6, where we're learning to find the patterns in vertical and horizontal lines, and then understand that points on the plane are distances from the axes. So we have our x-axis here, which is our horizontal line, and our y-axis here, which is a vertical line, and understand that points are certain distances from the x and the y-axis. So again, we have to remember the x-axis is our horizontal line, our y-axis is the vertical one. We also have to remember, especially when we're identifying the points, that we go over to a friend's house and up to their room. So we're traveling on the x-axis and then we're traveling on the y-axis. We need to think about these words parallel and perpendicular. Parallel, remember, has those two L's that are traveling in the same direction. And perpendicular is a difficult long word like lines that run into each other, and they run into each other at a 90-degree angle. The other thing that we kind of are introducing here is a line versus a line segment. A segment means that it's a part. A segment is something that's a part of something. So a line keeps going on forever. A line segment has two endpoints. Usually we'll label them like A, B, and so they stop at some point. So in this lesson, you're going to be doing lines, but you're also going to be doing line segments. And your line segments will be labeled like this, and lines will just be given a letter like the line F. So for your problem set today, I'm going to do the homework example. The only thing I want to point out is that we're now labeled as decimals. So if here is 0 and here is 5/10, I have to assume that each of these are a tenth. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, and 5/10. So each of those lines is 1/10. So just think about that when you are plotting yours. Mine is labeled the exact same, so we're going to get started by plotting these points. I have C, which is 4/10, 4/10, so I'm going to go over 4/10 and up 4/10, and that's going to be C. Then I have 1 and 1/10 and 4/10, so I'm going to travel over on the x-axis 1 and 1/10, and then I'm going to travel up on the y-axis 4/10, point A. So now I'm going to be plotting S and T. So S, I'm going to travel over 9/10, and then I'm going to travel up 5/10. And that's point S. And then for point T, I'm going to travel over 9/10 and up 1, 1, and 1/10. Now they want us to create line segments, so CA is going to be connected. I don't have a straight edge, so I'm going to draw it the straightest I can. So this line C is a horizontal line. And then they want us to connect ST, and that is a vertical line. So we have, remember, we're talking about the patterns of vertical and horizontal lines. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry about that. Now they want us to name well, actually, before we do that, let's look at line CA, our horizontal line. What do we notice? What patterns do we notice with their coordinates? Their x coordinates are different, but their y coordinates are the same. So I'm going to put under my horizontal line that it's going to have the same y coordinates. And we'll see if that continues. And with my vertical line, S and T, they have the same y coordinates, or x coordinates, sorry, but different y coordinates. So this, I'm going to put that they have the same x coordinates. That's the prediction that I'm making based on what information I've seen so far. Now they want us to name the line segment that is perpendicular to the x-axis. So if my x-axis is here, Perpendicular means I'm looking for a line that is traveling vertically. The line that's vertical here is ST. So I would write ST and then do the line over it because that's the line segment. Oh, and it's supposed to be parallel to the y-axis. Well, my y-axis is vertical. Down here, we're naming the line segment that is parallel to the x-axis. So again, my x-axis is traveling this way. We're looking for a line that is parallel. It's also supposed to be perpendicular to the y-axis. My y-axis travels vertically, so that would be a line that we're looking for that is horizontal. And the horizontal line on here is CA. So line CA. Now they want us to plot a point on CA and name it E. So here's point E. We can pick a point anywhere on those lines. And then plot a point on line segment ST and name it R. So anywhere on here, as long as it's in between points S and T, and then you just name it R. Now they want us to write the coordinates for E and R. So E, if I traveled down, and then over. So starting with my x coordinate, here's 5/10, so this would be 6/10. And then I'm going to travel over, here's 5/10, so one less than that would be 4/10. Make sure you can see that decimal in there. So we put E on this horizontal line, and we predicted that it would have the same y coordinate. So the same y coordinate is here, 4/10, 4/10, and 4/10. So our prediction so far is working out. Now let's do R. So I'm going to draw a line down, extending, and I'm going to extend this one. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to read the coordinates when I can extend those lines down, especially on a computer screen. All right, so I'm going to travel over on my x axis to right here, which is 9/10. And then on my y, this would be traveling up on my y-axis. If this is 1/10 less would be 9/10. So our prediction for a vertical line was that they would have the same x coordinate. So S had 9/10, T had 9/10, and R had 9/10. So far, these predictions are working out. So for problem 2, again, we have all of that text, so just kind of take it piece by piece, so that way it doesn't seem so daunting. I'm going to model the homework for number 2. So we're going to construct a line, not a line segment. So the line continues going throughout the whole coordinate grid, line M, so that the coordinate, the y coordinate of every point is 1.5. So I've got to look down here. It's split into halves. So 1.5 for the y coordinate. Here's my y coordinates. 1.5 is going to continue on there. And then we're going to construct, oh, that's line M. Then I have line N, and it's going to have an x coordinate at every point of 5.5. So an x coordinate, which would be this here, and it's 5.5. So that's line N. So line N is vertical. Nope, yeah, vertical, sorry. Up and down. And then we have a horizontal line M. And we said that with our vertical lines, they all have the same x coordinate. And we said with a horizontal line, they all have the same, whoops, try to say same and y at the same time, same y coordinate. So if we look here on this whole line, they all have the same y coordinate. So line M is how many units from this x-axis. That was the other big part of our learning intention, was that we were going to figure out that they are certain distances from the x and the y axis. So line M, if I'm start here on point 1, it's 1.5 points away. It's the same thing if I'm all the way here at the end of my coordinate plane, it's still 1.5 units away. Now it wants us to give a coordinate of the point on line M that is 2 units from the y-axis. So it's got to be along M, but it's got to be 2 units away from this y-axis. So 2 units away would be right here. So the coordinates for that, we have to start with our x-coordinate and then go to our y-coordinate. Our x-coordinate is 2, and our y-coordinate is 1.5. Now with a blue pencil, I'm going to do this light blue color. They want us to shade the portion of the grid that is less than 1.5 units from the x-axis. So from the x-axis is the key here, and it has to be 1.5 units. So anything less than that, that's the other key part. So if I shade up here, that would be more than, so it's less than, and it's from this x-axis, so that means we're working with the points beyond that or closer to it. So less than is right here. Now they're saying line N is what we're going to focus on. Line N here. How many units away from the y-axis is that? Well, if I'm down here, well, we'll do it 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. Even if I'm all the way up here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. So line N, no matter what point I'm at on this y-axis, it is 1 or 5.5 units away. That's our vertical line, so that it has the same x-coordinate, and that would be our x-coordinate, 5.5. It wants us to give the coordinates of a point on line N that is 3.5 units from the x-axis. So we're going from the x-axis, 3.5 units, which would be here, but it wants to be a point on line N, which would be right here. So we need the coordinates of that. So I'm going to start with my x-coordinate, which is 5.5. And my y-coordinate is 3.5. So line N is a vertical line. We said that it would have the same x-coordinates, and they do. They all have those same x-coordinates. Now with a red pencil, we're supposed to be shading the portion of the grid that is less than 5.5 units from the y-axis. So here's the y-axis. 5.5 units, that would be right here. So we want less than 5.5 units. And looking at treating this like a number line, less than is here. So for problem set number 3, we're going to be looking at, we have a list of tasks, but first we need to figure out how this is labeled. And if we look at we have units like 3 and 2/10, 1 and 2/10, 2 and 4/10. The way that this is split, it can't be by tenths. This can't be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, because this is supposed to be 5/10. So this is going to be 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, 8/10, and 10/10, which is equal to 1. Thanks so much, guys. That's all I have for you today. Keep working hard, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.